The psoas is a muscle, or rather kind of two muscles because it's on both sides. I want you to imagine something that links up between the front of your hips. So kind of feel like where the front of your hips are. In fact, like it's almost like the front sort of slightly inner. The front of your hips. Something's joining up between the front of your hips and then your upper lower back. So almost around your kidneys, but kind of attaching into the spine. So like your upper lower back, lower rib cage, that's where the other end attached. And you've got it on two sides. So you've got a psoas kind of on one side going from the front of your leg to that side of your spine, and the same on the other side. Let's work with a set of exercises now which are great for connecting with your psoas and also for releasing tension in your lower back. So let's do some pelvic tilts to begin with. We'll kind of mix up. Yeah, well, let's do this in the way that we do it in this somatic practice. So from here, you are just going to start by focusing on the curve of your lower back in order to get a tilt in your pelvis. So if you inhale and arch your lower back, keeping your hips and shoulders on the floor, making more space between your lower back and the floor. Then exhale, slowly release your lower back. So inhale and contract in your lower back to make this increased curve of your lower back. Exhale, soften and release in your lower back. Making the exhale really passive, but like this slow decontraction. Right, do a few more of those. Keeping it slow and noticing, is there an interaction with your psoas here? Or what is the interaction? As you do this movement and your pelvis tilts, really slowly, really mindfully. Okay. Pause now, just resting in this position or any position that feels comfortable. Noticing your belly, noticing the place that your psoas might be. Tuning in to that mysterious world inside your abdomen. Let's do cat exercise 2 here. So this is kind of developing the other one. You're actually going to bring a contraction into the front of your body, contracting the front of your torso to lift your head and shoulders. With this, if you interlace your hands together and have your head resting in your hands, great. Begin by inhaling and arching your lower back as you just did. So you're contracting in your back body. Exhale, release your back body slowly. Lift your head and shoulders up off the floor. So you're contracting your front body now. Inhale and slowly bring your head and shoulders back down to the floor. Arch your lower back a little at the end. Exhale, release lower back. Lift head and shoulders, contracting your front body. Just repeating this a few times. And noticing if you can tune into where your psoas is. Coming in and out of this super slowly. Pause after that one. Let's do a straight leg crunch now. If you straighten out your left leg on the floor, so your left leg is on the floor, left foot flexed, right knee is still bent, hands behind your head again. We'll just do a similar thing where next time you exhale, lift your head and shoulders up off the floor, keeping your left leg really stable and strong on the floor. Inhale, head and shoulders come back down to the floor. So on exhale, head and shoulders lifting. On inhale, the lowering. Do a few more really slowly. Okay, and then next time your head comes to the floor, switch your legs around. So your left leg bent and your right leg is straight. Right leg kind of quite stable on the floor with your right foot flexed. And then on exhale, head and shoulders lift. On inhale, head and shoulders come down. Tracking the connection between the front of your hip and your lower back ribs. Great. Now bend both knees, rest your hands anywhere that's comfortable. Take a pause for a couple of breaths. The next thing we'll do is a lying down twist. So if you reach both arms out to the side, have your knees bent, feet on the floor, and starting this with a small movement, play with tracking your knees from side to side. Continuing to track and connect to the contents of your abdomen. Not going full on into this straight away, keeping this quite a small movement. Breathing deeply as you notice what you can track internally with this. Stay with this for a while. If you want to increase the amplitude of it, feel free to do that. But making the most important thing that you're kind of tracking internally and knowing that you can make this movement bigger or smaller in a way that just helps you to feel. Like if you go to an extreme with this, you'll get into slightly different stuff. So just notice that and play with that. Okay, let's try a slight variation of this. Bring your knees to the middle and then cross one leg over the other leg. Arms are still stretched out to the side. And then play with tracking from side to side here. If you've got kind of complicated stuff going on in your hips and back, be really mindful of only going as far as feels okay right now. This is not about trying to get your legs to the floor or go into extremes. It's just mixing it up a little bit. If it doesn't feel okay to have the leg crossed over, then just doing a couple more without the leg crossed over. Keeping it really slow so you can feel for moving in a way that feels good for you. And track sensations as you do this so that you're kind of guided in how far feels okay today. Because like further is not necessarily better. Next time your knees come to the middle, change your legs over so the other one is crossed over on top. And then play with a side to side twist of your knees here. Being in this internal awareness. Okay. Bring your knees back to the middle now. Uncross your legs and just pause for a moment with your legs bent or your legs straight. Noticing the effects of each of these poses, each of these practices. And not overthinking it, but also taking notes of where stuff feels good to you or stuff doesn't feel good for you or where you feel shifts. Like yoga classes are great because somebody else tells you what to do, and that's wonderful. But It can also be really helpful to notice when you're in a class that thing felt really helpful and remember it, so that when you've got your yoga mat, when you're at home on your own with your yoga mat, you can have a go at repeating those things and find the movement ingredients that feel helpful for you in creating more freedom internally. Let's do cat exercise 3, which is on the front now. So in fact, let's do a few things on the front. So can you see me? There we go. Lying on your front on the floor. With this one, turn your head to the right and place your right hand underneath your left cheek. So your left arm is just going to be on the floor next to your left hip. It will stay there. Your head's looking to the right, so you can see your right elbow. Your right hand is underneath your cheek. Great. So how this one works is in fact, let's just do a leg first actually. So inhale, lift your left leg up off the floor, just your left leg, everything else is staying on the floor. Notice the contraction in the back of your leg. Exhale, release your leg, let that come back down to the floor. So notice how that is working the back of your leg, and you might feel other parts of your back muscle chain as well, across the back of the pelvis or even into your back. Do that once more time. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Keeping your left leg straight. It's not actually going very high. You're not using your right leg. Just working with the back strength, back of the leg strength. Exhale, lower down. Next one, we're also going to lift. Keep working with left leg, but you're also going to lift your chest, your arm, and your head. So on inhale, left leg comes up. Your chest, your arm, and your head come up. Notice what's happening in your back body or anywhere else. Only going as far as feels comfortable. Exhaling and lowering back down to the floor. Do 3 more like this, very slowly, very mindfully. And if this feels uncomfortable and it doesn't feel okay in your back today, you could maybe just do the upper body bit or just do the lower body bit, or even stay on the floor and visualize this movement. With your exhales, releasing out very slowly. After that round, change sides. Bring your left hand underneath your head. Right hand rests on the floor next to your right hip. Turn your head to the left, so you're looking at your left elbow, and then your right cheek is sitting on top of the back of your left hand. Let's start with right leg, just right leg. Inhale, lifting your right leg up. Noticing the back of your right leg working. Notice what else is working. Exhale, slowly as you can, release that leg back down to the floor. One more with just your right leg. And then 4 times, lifting your right leg and your left arm and your head and your chest. Lifting everything up on inhale. Right arm is staying on the floor though, so left arm, right leg. Exhale, it's a release, a slow controlled release as you come down. Really landing on the floor when you come down. after that round, pause. Bring both hands on top of each other. So you make a pile with your hands and then rest your forehead on your hands. Pause here and breathe into your lower back. Whilst we're on our fronts, let's do a cobra. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders now with your middle finger pointing forwards. Press the tops of your feet into the floor. Inhale, lift your chest up away from the floor into a cobra. Feel for the back of your legs, back of your back contracting. Exhale, slow release as you come back down to the floor. Let's do a cobra just going to the left now. So inhale, coming up, just leaning to the left or looking to the left a little. Exhale, come back down. I can actually really feel my psoas when I do that, interestingly. Same thing going to the right. It's like a stretch. For me, that's a stretch feeling in my psoas at certain points of that. Okay, and then after that, come onto your back. Coming onto your back with your knees bent. Let's do cat exercise 4 now. So this is I really like this as a sort of reset for one's lower back after back bends. We've just did a little bit of back bending there. So take your left hand behind your head. Inhale, arch your lower back away from the floor, so hips and shoulders are staying down. Exhale, relax your lower back towards the floor, lift your head up, lift your right foot up, and then your left elbow, right knee are moving towards each other. Doesn't matter if they meet or not. Inhale, slowly return your foot and your head to the floor. Arch your lower back at the end of that. Exhale, release lower back. Lift your left elbow, right knee towards each other. Inhale, coming down to the floor, releasing totally when you come down. Slowly. And do 2 more of these. So with this kind of thing, your psoas muscles are more likely to be contracting. So with the back bends, it was more likely to be sort of stretching stretching in the psoas muscles. With this, there's potentially more of a contraction happening in the psoas. Pause after that round for a breath or 2. Letting your belly soften. And then switch hands and do a few rounds on this side. So inhale, arch your back. Exhale, release your back, lift your head. Lift your left leg. So right elbow, left knee now. Inhale, coming down, then arching. Exhaling, lifting. After that round, then pausing, rest your hands somewhere comfortable, either with your legs straight or legs bent, whatever feels most comfortable. Softening in your belly. Continuing to observe the mystery of your internal world and the sensations and feelings that arise within. Okay, next thing we'll do is a bridge, like half bridge lifts with a block. So you'll still be on your back, so reach out and find a block or a cushion. And then place the block or cushion between your inner thighs, not between your knees. And have your feet parallel. Have your body even. Check your knees and hips and shoulders are even here. Rest your arms on the floor. Have your feet lightly active. Great. Inhale, softening your belly. Exhale, squeeze your block, curl your tailbone up, lift your hips a couple of inches and pull your pelvic floor in. Inhale, slowly release and come back down to the floor really slowly. Slowly and smoothly, feeling for using both legs evenly. So exhale, squeeze the block, lift your hips, pelvic floor in. Inhale, slow release down. Relaxing your pelvic floors on the inhale. And do a couple more, do a few more of these, but slowly. Tuning in to whether you can feel the involvement of your psoas. Okay, then after that round, just pause. Finish off this section, let's do a figure 4 stretch. I'll show you a couple of options. This kind of goes a bit like this, where you've got one leg crossed over the other, and then you're lifting the legs up towards you. Or me show it from this angle. So one ankle's on the opposite thigh and then you're lifting your legs up. An option, if you're near to a wall, it can be great to have, you can do this with one leg on the wall and then one leg crossed over. So again, the outside edge of my ankle is on top of is sort of just below my right knee. And I can increase the intensity of this stretch by so if I start with a bit of an angle like that, I can increase the intensity by bending this leg on the wall. Or I can decrease the intensity by straightening my leg or even moving away from the wall. So for those of you who find this figure 4 stretch kind of not accessible to begin with, try the version on the wall. So you're taking, so get yourself to a wall or a door where you can take one leg at an angle on the wall. Let's do this with whether you're doing leg on the wall or you're just in the middle, you haven't got a wall. Let's do this with the left leg crossed over first. So outside edge of your left ankle, just below your right knee. And if you're at the wall, you can play with bending your leg to a point where you're like, oh, I feel this, that's enough. Or if you're on the floor, then you're holding on with both hands around your right thigh. So either of those two options. And I want you to connect your breath to the back of your pelvis here. Feeling for making space around your sacrum. This one is not so much a psoas thing, but it's quite good to, like there's a lot of, the sacrum and what's going on. The sacrum has also a big impact on what's going on with your posture and your structure. So we're just having a bit of a sacrum moment. So connect your breath with your sacrum, with the back of your pelvis, with the bones at the back of your pelvis. And also perhaps notice if there's a stretch in your left outer hip right now. That may well be where your piriformis muscle is, which is a thing that can get very tight and cause problems. You can even take your left hand, if your left hand is spare, you can take your left hand onto the outside of your left hip and just massage around that area that you feel. If I show it on that side, like massage around the outside of your left hip. Okay, change sides now. So you've now got your right leg crossed over. Left leg is on the wall or left leg is bent. If you're doing this without a wall, hold on with one or both hands to your left thigh. If you've got the wall, you don't actually need to use your hands, so you have your hands free if you want to massage any tight spots that you're aware of. Inhale, and with your breath, stretch the bones at the back of your pelvis. Like imagine the pelvic bones spreading. Like imagining the back of the pelvis widening. Great. Uncross your legs, bring both feet to the floor. Let's do that visualization. So just closing your eyes. Imagine as you inhale, breath traveling down your spine. Exhale, breath traveling up your front body. Inhale, breath travels down your spine. Exhale, breath going up your front. Then imagine that your knees are supported or suspended on a clothes hanger. Have a sense of your hips dropping down into the earth, your feet dropping down into the earth. And then imagine waterfalls running from your knees to your hips. The muscles of your thighs relaxing. And then imagining water flowing from your knees to your feet. Your shins and your calves and your feet relaxing. Then imagine your eyes and your feet resting in cool water. Relaxing your eyes and your feet. And feel for softening the contents of your belly. In the space between your hips and your ribs. Let's just take a couple of moments in silence now, like just a minute or two, just to pause and to feel and to integrate. Then you bring your awareness back to the surface. Have a bit of a wriggle on your mat. Move however you'd like to move right now. Noticing how you feel after that sequence, just kind of working with your hips and lower back. And then roll onto one side and sit up from your side. Thank you for joining me for this practice today. If you're not already an Inspiratrix Yoga member, know that you can join for a very low price. The standard online membership rate is only £19 a month, and for that you get access not only to a huge library of recorded videos, but you also get access to Zoom classes with me twice a week and my once a month workshops that delve deeper into aspects of yoga. To find out all about that, go to inspiratrix.co.uk. I'd love to know how you found this video, so do drop a comment in the YouTube comments below. I hope to practice with you again soon.